In our program Face to Face today, we bring to you a conversation with Shillong based artist Akanksha Chakravarti with Dr. Bonnie M. Nichols on her works and passion as an artist. Let us listen to this conversation.
Art is an expression of thoughts and feelings using creativity and skill created with the hope that others can relate. True that artists create art using a combination of conscious skill and creative imagination. And yes, dear listeners, today I welcome you all to this creative and imaginative world of art. I'm your host, Dr. Bonnie M. Nichols. So excited to take you all to Akanksha's palette, so enriched with talent, passion, hues, and I'm sure you will be inspired by her vibrant artworks. Akanksha Chakraborty, very much a Shillongite, being born and brought up in Shillong, pursued her studies in architecture, but always had her art career close to heart, and perhaps realizing that this was eventually her vision in life. Akanksha has excelled as an artist and is becoming famous day by day with her fabulous art strokes, catching the eyes and hearts of art lovers, not just in India, but also abroad. Personally, I have known Akanksha for a pretty long time when she was a teenager, and I remember her mother, showing me some of her sketches and drawings, which even I would say at a young age seemed awesome to me. Today, I'm so thrilled to be in conversation with the beautiful, young, talented, and passionate artist. Hello, Akanksha.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for this lovely introduction. I'm so glad to be a part of this
A
with
very
you
warm
today.
welcome to our studios, and I'm sure our listeners will love listening to what you have to share with us. Well, to begin our conversation, could you tell us a little about yourself and your journey into the world of art?
Yes, so I'm an artist based in the Delhi NCR. I have been born and brought up in Shillong, and I've spent most of my childhood years here. As I was growing up, I was very much surrounded by art, I'd say. I would take part in various art competitions. I would also go to various art classes, and that's where I picked up my love for oil painting. Over the years, I realized that art couldn't really be taken up as a serious career. So I opted into taking up architecture. I moved to Delhi to study this 5 year degree. Now, over this 5 year degree, I'd say my primary focus was architecture, but I was still incorporating art into my life. So I was sketching on and off, I was still painting. But it was in the year 2020 when I didn't have a job around that time. That was the pandemic. It was very difficult to get an architectural job. So I thought, why not start art again as a serious profession? And that's when I launched Akanksha's Palette in the year 2020. Right after that, I was juggling architecture and art simultaneously. There were long hours where I would come back from my job and I would work on a painting. And over time, I realized that art could be taken up as a full-time career. I decided to leave architecture once and for all because, there were certain hurdles that I faced within the profession. So I took up art, and since then, there's been no looking back. It's been 5 years since then. And, I'm selling my work. I'm also teaching online, and I'm just growing as an artist day by day.
Well, I was really awestruck listening to your fabulous journey to the world of art. And if I may quote by Pablo Picasso, as he quotes, painting is just another way of keeping a diary. And I think if you've kept your diary well, and well, I'm sure so many pages more will be added to the beautiful
Yes,
diary.
hopefully.
And it's good to know that the pandemic has done good for some people.
Yes, yes.
Some have become good chefs.
Yeah.
Some have become good artists like you.
Yeah.
All right. So, how would you describe your work? What has been the catalyst, or rather, who has been your inspiration, and where did you find that inspiration? How have you evolved?
Right. So I do have certain inspirations, certain artists who I've admired over the years, whose work I've looked up to quite a lot. So one such artist, he's a contemporary artist. His name is Andrew Tischler. I've learned a lot of the technical sides of oil painting from him. And, the art classes that I had taken as a child, those also encouraged me to look at oil painting as not just an intimidating medium, because that's how one perceives oil painting. So this person has really helped me, I'd say. My work mainly revolves around seascapes. And, the reason for that is because I think when one looks at the sea, there's a certain kind of vastness and openness that they feel with respect to it. It's a very unpredictable subject. It can change its moods. It has different moods, I'd say. It can either be turbulent, it can be calm, it can be,
Different phases of life. as
exactly. It
such.
can evoke so many emotions altogether.
But if I may just intervene, being from a hilly region, from the hilly side and all
Yeah.
that, what really took you to the seaside?
Right. So while I was growing up in Shillong, I was very much connected to nature. It grounded me and there was a sense of familiarity to it, for sure. But I think as soon as I started pursuing art as a serious profession, there was a lot of unpredictability in my life. I didn't know where I was going, I didn't know what route I'd take and where I'd eventually end up. And the ocean, I think, was the perfect subject that made me express these said emotions. Like I mentioned previously, it is very unpredictable, it's chaotic, it's turbulent. So, whatever emotions that I had within me, I was able to express that through painting this subject. And, although I'd say I'm still very much connected to Shillong and the greenery of it, but I think it doesn't really have to do with the geographical location, but rather at what stage of my life I was at that given point of time.
Well, it was really amazing to see your paintings. So, how do you really manage to bring out the real colors that we see? And what are your preferred mediums, tools, and materials?
So I love using oil painting, and that's been my go-to medium ever since I was a child, I'd say. And the reason for that is because it has a very thick and buttery consistency, the texture of oil paints. And also it gives a very vibrant feel to the painting. And I think it ages really well. Masters in the past have used oil painting in their work, and these works have lasted for years. So I'd say, that's where my love for oil painting really comes from. But aside from that, I use other tools, brushes, palettes. I have all of that I tend to use. I also use, oil painting takes a little bit of time to dry. And I don't really like waiting for too long for my painting to dry. I want to reduce the drying time. So there are certain mediums that I mix in with my paints that reduce the drying time significantly, so I don't have to wait for that long. So these are just a few tools that I use.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what are the themes and messages that you mostly explore through your work?
Right. So when I actually start a painting, I usually ask myself a very simple question, which is, what do I want the viewer to feel when they see my work? And that usually sets the pace for the entire painting, I'd say. Life is very fast paced. People don't really pause in day-to-day life to observe, certain moments. They just are very fleeting and they just go by in a matter of a few seconds. But through my work, I want people to slow down and to observe the little things in life that actually make it beautiful, I'd say. So that's what I want the person to feel when they look at my painting. I don't really want to push a message onto the viewer, but rather I want them to feel a connection with my painting. And that could be, a sense of calmness, reflection, or any sense of familiarity as well. A personal connection with my painting instead of me telling them how to feel.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm a person also who loves the little things, the small things, because they matter so much.
Yes.
And through your paintings, if you can reveal that, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think you conceptualize your ideas and, bring them to life on your canvas. So, shall you just take us on a quick journey through your creative process from, suppose, let's say, an idea which has sparked and until its completion?
Right. I usually have a concept in mind, and it could even be a feeling, not necessarily a concept. It could also be a feeling. And then I look for visual references that depict this mood. And I collate these visual references, and then I use a lot of digital softwares in my process as well. So I use Photoshop and I use Canva, and I try to tweak, color palettes. I experiment with color palettes and understand what are the in what perspective or light this feeling that I'm feeling can be best depicted. And right after that, I go on to compose that initial idea or sketch onto the canvas. And I move on to create the first layer of the painting, which is called the underpainting. So that actually sets the foundation for the future layers that I lay down. So the underpainting can give you an idea about the shadows, the light, and also the structure of the entire painting, I'd say. Right after that, I go in with several layers within the painting. My whole style is realism. I want the painting to feel as real as possible. So there are several layers that I need to add to the painting until I reach the finished product. And right after that, I wait for a few weeks, actually, if not months, for the painting to dry because it's oil painting at the end of the day. And I finally go in with 2 coats of varnishing.
Beautiful creative process that you have behind all your art. And I think rightly mentioned by Robert Henry, the object isn't to make art, it is to be in that wonderful state which makes art inevitable.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead with your career objectives as an artist.
So initially, I think I was, my whole objective was to grow as an artist and also to sell my work. But gradually now, since it's been 5 years, I think that objective has somewhat evolved in a lot of ways. Right now, it's more about creating a sustainable long-term career. And that means not creatively burning out at an early stage, but because that can really happen if you are exhausted creatively and you keep pushing yourself without leaving any breathing room, you can get creatively exhausted. So I think, making room for other things that I also enjoy in my life, working out, eating food, meeting friends, all of that, and doing that simultaneously with what I enjoy as well. I think that is something that I would call a sustainable art career in the long term. And that's my main objective right now.
Right. I think sustainability is the key word, in
Right.
today's world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in everyone's life or career, that has to be there. Right. So we've explored your, technical skills and your artistic vision. So can we move on now to your favorite art piece? I'm sure you have your favorite, or maybe many, but maybe your favorite one. Or you can just talk about it and maybe even mention your masterpiece. Because
Right.
we all have.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a couple of favorites, yes. But one such piece that really stands out to me, I think, would be this painting titled Drops of Gold. So, this is a painting that features a swan that is sitting still on water, and there are drops of water that are falling from the beak of the swan. And the entire painting is very soft, I'd say. It has this soft bokeh effect in the background as well as the foreground. And aside from that, the color palette is this orangish, bluish hue of colors that I've used. So I think the title Drops of Gold was actually inspired by the droplets of water that are actually falling from the swan's beak. Like I mentioned previously, there are just these moments in our life that are so fleeting that one doesn't really notice these moments. So I wanted to urge the viewer to notice this crucial part of the painting, which was just those few drops that were falling from the beak of the swan, and just to pause and reflect on it, And I've created the drops in such a way that it creates this soft, warm hue, which almost looks like gold, and hence the name Drops of Gold. So I think that was one of my favorite pieces. Aside from that, I think this painting also allowed me to paint in a more abstract way. Like I said, I usually like painting realistic paintings. This painting pushed me to paint more freely and loosely and allow myself a little bit of breathing room instead of just being a perfectionist and focusing on the details. So, yeah.
Incredible. And Angsha, having gone through your Instagram page, I've also noticed that you paint, say, images of cats as well.
Yeah.
So why only cats? Why not other animals?
So I think there are a couple of reasons to that. So cats, as a child, I think I resonated with cats a lot more than dogs because cats are very independent, curious creatures. And I think I too am like that in a lot of ways. I kind of keep to myself and I don't like people like interfering with my space too much. So I like cats because of that, and also because I think they're extremely cute and they're adorable creatures. So yeah, I think
I
that's
thought
mainly it.
We had a pet. All right. So, what are your most valued skills as an artist?
I love that question. I think art has taught me a couple of things. One thing is discipline, When we are working in a job or when we're working under someone, it is the entire onus of accountability, or rather, the entire sense of doing the thing, doing the task is external. So, you have a boss that's sitting on top of your head and telling you what to do. But when you have created something of your own, when you have something that you have created so dearly, the entire onus of doing the task lies on you, right? And that sense of self discipline is something that this journey has taught me very well, because there's no one to look for my work or tell me what to do. I need to wake up in the morning and tell myself that I need to do this, this, this. And that's easier said than done, when you don't have someone else to tell you what to do. So, discipline is one thing. And also, I'd say time management in a lot of ways, structuring my time in a way that I can do several things. So art, I of course paint, but aside from that, there's so many other things that this journey involves, right? Like editing the pictures, like posting on my website, researching on so many different aspects of it, and evolving
I
as
think
an
you
artist.
need to be a poet also sometimes. Poetic nature.
Yeah, so there's just so many aspects of this journey, and I think time management is one thing that this journey has taught me as well.
What
Yeah.
about patience? I think you need to be
Patience
patient.
too. Yeah, there are quite a few things that I've learned
You need to
along
be
the way,
patient.
honestly. Yeah, patience is another attribute I'd associate to art.
Right. So, getting a little more up close and personal, Akanksha, you did mention a little in the beginning, but having an academic background in architecture and with your passion and skill in arts,
Yeah.
how do you connect the two to the other areas of your life?
Right. I think architecture, although I've moved away from it, it still has a significant role in my art career. I think one such thing that I can think of right now is, the design elements within architecture. So, things like balance, like structure, like composition, all of these things are things that we learn during architecture school, and these play a huge role in designing a building as well. And these same elements are the same things that we need to keep in mind when we're creating an art piece. I have to constantly think of how I'm composing the piece, the emphasis that I'm laying on the painting, all of that. So, all of these design elements, I think I've picked up from architecture, and now I have transferred this knowledge to art. But aside from that, I think art has also, taught me patience, consistency in other aspects of my life. Consistency is one thing that I really struggled with initially, honestly. It's very hard to be consistent every day of your life because most of my art is promoted through Instagram, through other social media platforms. And the algorithm is such that if you're not consistent, you will fall off the map pretty much. So you need to continuously produce new work, you need to engage with your audience. So I think consistency has been another skill that I've picked up, and that has helped me in other aspects of my life.
So it's all been a phase of transformation and evolution, because somehow the two, as you said, it is connected. It's all about designs,
Yeah.
art. So, well, good to know all that. And so how, coming to a very important part of an artist, artist's life, to be very precise, how do you promote your work? I've seen you conduct workshops and online art courses.
Yes.
So could you just tell us a little about it?
Yes. So I had initially started my whole career by having an Instagram page. So that's how I gained a few followers, because I would continuously create a lot of videos, because that's what the platform demands of you. You need to continuously make reels and, promote these reels. So I started with that, and simultaneously I also opened an Etsy shop. So this is an online marketplace, very similar to Amazon, I'd say, but it only has handmade items in it. And it's an American-based company, which then helped me gain an international audience, because if I was to just promote it through Instagram, I'd not reach as wide of an audience as I did through Etsy. So Etsy helped me in a lot of ways. After that, I decided to shut down Etsy because it is a marketplace at the end of the day. People go to it to compare your things to other things, and that reduces the value of your paintings or prints or whatever else I'm selling on it. So then I decided to launch my own website, and that's where I have most of my paintings and prints as of now. But aside from that, now I think, there were a lot of people on my Instagram that didn't just want to buy my work, but they also wanted to learn from me. And so I thought, okay, there are people that are messaging me continuously. Why don't I conduct these online workshops, and let's see how that goes. And it's been a while since I've conducted these online workshops. It's been 2-3 years, and there were a lot of people who turned
They're
out
all
for it.
short-term courses.
This wasn't a course, this was just an online live workshop.
Right.
So it was a half an hour to 1 hour session. But after that, I realized that, okay, I think it's time to create a pre-recorded course, one where a person can just buy the course and they can self-pace the course entirely. It has lessons and tutorials within it, and they can watch it at their own time. So this course was created last year, and that's mostly how I promote my work. It's through teaching. It was through Etsy initially, and now it's through my website.
And you're really doing great.
Thank you so much.
Well, Akanksha, life is not without challenges.
Yeah.
And so, what are the challenges that you faced, in your art career, to be very precise? And how do you overcome challenges? And let's say, how do you handle, creative blocks?
I think initially my response to a creative block was to force myself to create more. I would just sit in front of the painting and push myself, okay, no, you have to do it, you have to create. That didn't really turn out too well for me, because I realized that was also affecting the output, the painting, and also my journey. I wasn't enjoying the process. So over time, I've realized that I just need to step away from the painting for a few days, give myself that creative breathing room, like get back to my regular life, do my thing regularly, like meet friends, do other things, and then come back to the painting in a few days' time and look at it from a refreshed mind. So I think that has really helped me, at least in the sense of getting rid of the creative block. This can last honestly for weeks, if not months. I wouldn't say that this is, a short-term thing that the creative block just goes away in a few days. It can last for a long time, and I've experienced that myself. So yeah, I just give myself that confidence
Just
that, okay,
keep
it's
your
okay.
cool and
Yeah, just
take a
step away.
breather.
Yeah, take a breather and do other
Right.
things.
So, beyond arts, what are your other interests?
So I have, for the past 1 year, I go to the gym. I like exercising quite a lot. And, it is, again, a very technical process, to go to the gym and to work out, because diet too is, you have to do a lot of calculations. You need to like really understand what you're putting inside your body. So I've really enjoyed that process over this 1 year. But aside from that, I think I also enjoy like exploring a lot of food. I love eating. I know it's contradictory to what I said earlier, like gym and food.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, it's all about balance. And during the weekends is when I explore food. So I like trying out new cuisines. I meet my friends. I have meaningful conversations. I enjoy that quite a bit as well. And yeah, these are mostly my interests aside from painting.
All right. Now, coming to, I think, the most awaited and, been so passionate about arts, and I'm sure you've been awarded too. So tell us a little about your awards and achievements so far.
Right.
I'm sure many more are waiting, but for the
Right.
moment.
As such, I haven't received a formal award, but I would look at my achievements in the sense of, the impact that I've created so far, rather than having a trophy at hand. So, I'd say all of the things that I've done over these 5 years, creating this independent art practice, selling my work internationally, also, teaching so many students across the globe, and also creating art or looking at art as a full-time career. I think all of these are achievements in itself in a lot of ways.
I truly agree.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I think at the end of the day, for me, the impact that I've created matters more than probably any certification or anything that I've received so far. Yeah.
I think your art, your paintings have created or instilled an interest in so many. And so that brings us to our next question. What is your take on arts as a career, for the others who would love to take up arts as a career?
I would start off by saying that it is very much possible to do so. I think, a lot of the people around us, or rather the society that we broadly live in, I wouldn't generalize, but a majority of the society that we live in would tell you to take a conventional route. But I want to kind of lay it out there that it is very much possible to take art as a full-time career, especially in today's day and age with the advent of social media. There's just so many opportunities that are waiting for you. You can do so much just within the domain of art. You can not just sell paintings, you can also sell prints, you can sell merchandise, you can also teach, you can get brand sponsorships from stationery brands. There's just so many opportunities that one can take. So I'd say have that confidence in yourself to begin, and take action. Like, don't just overthink what to do and how to do it, and just not take action. I'd say start with whatever little idea that you have, start and take the action that's necessary, and have faith in the process. I'd say just have faith, have patience, and there will be parts. I wouldn't paint this rosy picture to everybody who is listening that it is it's all rosy and it's all good. There will be times in your journey that you don't know where you're going, right? The process isn't very rewarding and you're pretty much lost. But you need to hold on to that. You need to remind yourself why you started this journey, and recenter yourself. And I think you'll be good to go.
Need to be focused.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're really a true artist, because a true artist is not just one who is inspired, but the one who inspires others. Well, we've almost come to the end of our very beautiful canvas conversation today. Last but not the least, what would be your advice to the emerging artists?
I'd say you can start with whatever little idea that you have. Explore everything that's out there. I think my work is mainly online, right? I promote through social media, all of these platforms. But it is very much possible to go out there physically into the world and make connections and introduce yourself to people and be very confident while you're doing so, right? Because people won't just look at your art, but they'll also look at you. And having that brand is very important. You need to be connected to your art, and you need to be looked at as an overall package at the end of the day. So have faith in your brand, have faith in yourself, and I think it'll be great.
Thank you, Akanksha. Those were, I would say, the brush strokes of emotion, that was welled out in our conversation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
being
me
here in our studios. And yes, each brush stroke whispers a story, weaving moments of color into a quiet tapestry of emotion. Well, Akanksha, keep painting beautiful canvas, with your beautiful, unique style of emotions and passion. And once again, thank you so much for sharing your awesome work of art. The journey was truly inspiring and
Thank you so
interesting.
Much.
And before we wind up, let us listen to one of your favorite songs.
So there's one song that comes to my mind and I think is really fitting for this journey is called The Painter. It's a really beautiful song, and I think people who are listening would really enjoy it.
Right, so we will surely dedicate this song to our beautiful guest, Akanksha Chakraborty.
The painter stood before her work. She looked around everywhere. She saw the pictures and she painted them. She picked the colors from the air. Green to green, red to red, yellow to yellow in the light, black to black when the evening comes, blue to blue in the night. It's a long road.
Listeners, in our program Face to Face today, You've just heard a conversation between Akanksha Chakravarti with Dr. Bonnie M. Nichols on her passion and hobbies as an artist. And listeners, I'm sure you've enjoyed listening to that interesting conversation. This program came to you from the studios of Akashvani Shillong.